Good day, I'm Karen Wilson and this is Table Talk. We have a great show for you today. My guest is Cathy Farley with the White County Library. Welcome to the show, Cathy.
Thank you, Karen.
And you're the director there.
Yes, ma'am.
Longtime employee, I think you said.
A little over 24 years.
Okay. So you've got lots of experience at the library. I was looking at the library's Facebook page, and you guys have a lot going on there. It seems like you all do a wonderful job with community engagement.
Thank you. We try very hard to be an active part of our community.
So the first thing I noticed was these little video segments you had. I think one was a Teen Tuesday and then Crafts with Jimmy. Kind of tell us about that.
We try to shoot at least 3 videos every month. We have one aimed for teens, one for children, and one for adults. And then a lot of times we have extras depending on what else is happening. Crafts with Jimmy is a huge hit. Crafts with Jimmy is where adults are encouraged to make craft projects.
Oh, wow.
So you make it with things that you have there at the house, or if you don't have them at the house, you can go get them because it's video. You can come back and watch it on demand. Jimmy does a great job of putting all the craft projects together and putting his touch on everything. Julie, our teen librarian, does the Teen Tuesdays. Dana, our children's librarian, does the children's activities. And then we have a cooking show once a month that is really taken off. Floyd's there in Sparta, our hometown grocery store, sponsors us and supports us so great. They give us all of our products we need to make the meals that we're doing. And we're hoping to show people that you can cook at home quickly and economically. So that's a struggle for a lot of families in our area. And we want to give them some options where they're not always trying fast food or frozen pizza. Of course, at our house, we eat frozen pizza a lot. But, you know, we try very hard to do some things out there. We have guest chefs come in and cook with us and a lot of fun things like that with our videos.
So what inspired you all to start the video? Was it like a brainstorming amongst your team, or how'd that get started?
Well, it was kind of a fluke. We thought, we're just going to try this and see what we can do. And our first ones are, if you go back in our video, our first ones are very poor quality, and we're a little ashamed, but we've left them up because they're quite hilarious, to be quite honest. The pandemic especially brought it on that we could not serve people in the way that we were accustomed to serving. So let's find a new way to do outreach, a new way to do programs to reach people. So we started doing videos real heavily during the pandemic. And during our summer, the first summer that everything closed down, we did a video every day.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we were very busy that summer, but that's what we could do. That's how we could serve.
Yeah, it's like you brought the library to them.
A lot of it was just trying to find a creative way to still reach people, even though things were not where we could be together.
Yeah. Well, and I love how you've reached different demographics with that. You've got something for older adults, something for, you know, just the content is like, even the teen stuff, I thought, I want to try to do that.
Exactly. And everyone that participates in the videos is so great. Michael does all of our filming and editing. Connie and Anita started the cooking show. Everybody there in the building tries so hard to make this work, to come up with creative things that people will enjoy. So I'm glad to hear you say that it is something that does appeal to you, even though you're not in the age demographic we're targeting.
Yeah, no, I thought that was very interesting. Another thing I noticed were the book reviews and all the different types of books that, you know, you may have a travel book or a children's book. How did that get started?
We honestly just thought, that's some content we can put up really quick, really easy. Every staff person, grab a book, hold it up, give me like 4 lines about this book, why you liked it. one of them gave me 4 lines on why they didn't like it. But we posted that too.
okay,
Exactly, yeah. Reviews are reviews.
Right, right.
But Patty was just up this last week, and even though she's our genealogy librarian, she had a children's book. So that was something we talked about too. Don't pick books out of your section, pick books from the whole library. So we do that a lot. We really enjoy getting the book reviews out there, and people will call and ask for the book. So I think it is successful.
Yeah, well, reading groups and things like that have really taken off. And to me, I was drawn in because it were things that I wouldn't necessarily pick up to read. I think one was a hiking or a trail guide or something like that. And that I thought, well, that's neat that this guy read this and gave me the recommendation on it.
Exactly. Well, and two, books like that are outside of your comfort area. You want to know what you're getting into before you pick that. Is this something that really might appeal to me, or is this something that I better lay down? Because I just had to read this book about Lewis and Clark for our book discussion group at the library, and I did not enjoy it. Lewis and Clark were on that trail for a very long time. I didn't think they were ever going to get there, and then they finally got there, and we had to turn around and come back. I thought, oh, Lord, just leave me out here in Oregon.
Let's take the short version.
Exactly. I'll just stay right here. Y'all go on back. But it was something.
And that's good to know. And then it's fun in a book group because you all talk about that, and some people look at that in a different way.
Oh, I know. Some of them will enjoy it, especially a lot of the men in the group. They were really looking forward to this book, and they're going to talk about it all day. And I'm just going to sit there and nod. So I didn't really enjoy it, but it'll be fine. So.
Yeah. I was also noticing all the technology. Talk to us about, I guess, the technology that you use internally first.
Well, we have 74 computers in the building. That's off the top of my head.
That's a lot.
We have actual laptop computers, desktop computers. We have Chromebooks. We have iPads. So as a patron, when you walk through the doors, we can give you whatever you're familiar with working on to help you do what you're trying to do. We have, of course, Ben Lomond Internet.
We're happy to hear that.
They're in our building, so we're connected. We have a Wi-Fi network that you can log your device into. You don't have to use our devices if you don't want to. Bring your own device. We have printers that you can hook to, print whatever you need to do. We offer classes. Carmela Koch teaches our computer classes, and we actually have computer classes going right now.
That's a great resource.
We have those computer classes that start with the basics and work their way on up. Right now, those classes are being given on Chromebooks. So it's an even cheaper alternative for people that can't afford an actual laptop. Chromebooks are a lower price point.
Yeah, right. So, especially if somebody is just wanting to check email, maybe do a little surfing or their Facebook account or something.
So many of the kids at school have Chromebooks now that are assigned to them that they get to bring home that the rest of the family could utilize if they knew how.
Yeah, that is a good point there. Talk to us also about this virtual meeting room that you all have created.
That is such a cool thing. We're very excited. It reminds me of an old phone booth. There's not a phone in it, though. It's just a privacy, soundproof room with a glass door so I can see what you're doing in there. But you go in, you close the door, you can take whatever device you have, or we can give you a device. You can have a very private meeting with an attorney. A telemed visit with your doctor. You could do a job interview, a Zoom meeting with a client, anything like that you have that you need technology to do, but you need to be in a public space where you feel safe, or you don't have internet at home, you can come to the library and do.
Well, I know, with the whole working from home, you thought it's cool to work from home, but sometimes you don't want the dogs barking in the background or the children playing, especially like on a job interview.
I have a cat that if I start talking to the computer, he is fascinated, and he just needs to come and see what I'm talking to, so he'll just parade through endlessly. Yes. And of course he turns to face me, so the whole world is getting a great view of his tail.
Well, sometimes it's not so bad and cute, but other times you need to be more professional.
Exactly. So I look forward to using the booth where he cannot be in there with me.
Yeah. What gave you all, did you all get grants, or did you kind of build it yourself?
We got a grant. It is actually through a company called Room. and they do actual meeting rooms that can hold more than one person. This, we wanted just a one person. So that's what we picked out and ordered. This is through funds from the ARPA.
Okay.
We received a little over $27,000 worth of funds to do some upgrades and things like that throughout the building to help people in the recovery areas.
I know we have had lots of grant money floating around for things like that. What a blessing to be able to do some things kind of out of the box.
It has been. We really focus too on expanding our online collections. So if you use Tennessee Reads, Overdrive, and Libby, those apps that we have, you can now find titles that are just available to White County.
Okay.
So before we had to depend on the state's catalog, and now we have titles too. So make sure you log in on your account and it'll pull up White County titles too.
Okay.
So,
and let's go back, I guess, to the library's original, the origination reading. Why is reading throughout our lives so important to us?
well, they teach us now that up until third grade, you learn to read. And third grade and beyond, you read to learn. So if you want to continue learning, if you want to move forward in your life, you have to read. We read screens. We read road signs. I used to read cereal boxes. I'm so old. That was quite a fascinating thing I read. But when you read to learn, a lot of times you don't even realize you're reading. You take it for granted. You've done it your whole life. And just to be able to read the news on a computer screen, it's small things like that, that reading is such an essential part of your life. If you did not know how to do that, it would seriously stunt your economic potential. If people in your community can't read, your whole community's economic potential can go down in a hurry. So reading is still such an essential part of everything we do, and making sure that people can read, are able to be functionally literate, even filling out forms at the doctor's office. Imagine how hard that would be if you couldn't read. Reading touches every part of your life. You can get away without knowing math sometimes. You need to know a few things. But reading, you've got to be able to do it to function in society.
That is true. I mean, our society basically revolves around that. What about the social aspects of reading and just personal growth?
And that so much of it. One of my friends, actually the Friends of the Library president, George Weber, just passed away. He and I shared books. And there was a great social element between the two of us. You've got to read this. Tell me what you think of this. Have you seen what this author just put out? They did an interview, and this is what they... And so it was such a tie between the two of us of a shared experience. A book can bring you so many emotions, so many feelings that are sometimes really big, and you don't know how to process. So sharing it with someone else helps lighten that load. Helps you know how to get through those things.
True. It's a great escape. I was watching a video actually the other day on the impact of like the Diary of Anne Frank and how that impacted her story. But if we weren't able to read that, but how much you grow just from seeing this 12-year-old girl's perspective of the Holocaust.
Exactly. And so many books let you see how your life might have been had you made a different choice. You can see yourself in the pages. That's why it's important, especially in children's literature, to reflect children of all colors, to reflect children of all religions, of all every different thing you can think to represent in that literature. They need to see themselves in that and know that in life they have choices. In life they can do other things than what their parents have done. It's important to see that in literature because it's a safe place that you can experiment with and still come out of it and be okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of times books teach us choices not to make.
Well, right.
Let's don't be a murderer, okay? There's a lot of those out there.
It's funny you say that. I read an interesting book, and I cannot think of the name of it. You may know it when I describe it, but the young lady was in a bad place, and she went to this dimension where every library book she pulled out was how her life would have been had she made this choice or made that choice.
About that one, I haven't read that one. I read one recently where there were different worlds, and you were alive on all these other universes. The only way you could travel back and forth between the universes were if you were not alive on that universe. But you got to see different ways that your life panned out. It's so interesting to think,
is.
you know, if I had just chosen.
Well, that was her thing. And in the end, she chose to be herself and to go back and be her, but she had learned so much from all the different scenarios of life. It was just a neat book, and I'll have to find the name of that.
You'll have to share it with me.
I know. I have some friends on Instagram that are always making book recommendations, and that's a fun way to share things.
Social media has really opened up where we get our book recommendations, because used to people would come to me and they would say, I like this author. Can you point me in? And yes, I can. And we still do a lot of that, especially during the pandemic. People would have curbside pickup. And they would call and they would say, just get me a Baldacci and, you know, maybe a Michael Connelly. And I'm pulling those books. I'm thinking, if you like David Baldacci and you like Michael Connelly, I'm going to stick a C.J. Box in there too and see if you won't like him as well.
Right.
And we'd take them out of the car. I've stuck a couple extra in there by a new author. You might like that too. So we still do that. We still recommend. But a lot of times people come to us. My friend has said, I have to read this book. So it's really different.
And do you all have a way to do audio books?
Oh, yes.
That's what I knew a lot of libraries do now.
At the whole state, if you have a public library card in the state of Tennessee, you can download an app called Libby. It's through Overdrive. You enter in that card number. You have to pick your library first, which library you belong to, and your card number. And then you have access to all of these books and ebooks and audiobooks that you can download to your device. And your public library gets credit for that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So please, it's free. Please use it. I hate it when I hear that people are buying things like that. Don't buy that. Get it for free from us. Sometimes you have to wait your turn. But that's an exercise in patience that we all need to learn.
Right. There's I guess a limited number of licenses that you have, and then when somebody else has finished, it's just kind of like a traditional library book.
They send you an email and say, hey, it's your turn. You want it now? And we're like, yes, it's my turn.
Yeah, a lot of people I know listen to that in the car when they're on long trips or while they're cleaning their house or working on something outside in their yard. It's a neat way to experience a book.
It is. One of the ladies that works at the library constantly has a book going. I don't have that much of an attention span, to be quite honest.
Sometimes I tend to fall asleep. Even if it's a great book, their voice is very soothing. Usually they pick wonderful people to read the books.
Well, and on these too, you can speed up the audio if you're a fast listener, you know, or you don't really like that part of the book. You can just speed that part up and go on past it.
Good to know. Lots of great. Kathy, I'm just so impressed with the White County Library and your community engagement. You all are really utilizing technology and reaching out to your patrons there.
We try very hard. We have a great library board. We have great Friends of the Library group that support us in everything we do. We have a wonderful library foundation that seeks funding opportunities, and we work great in partnership with our county commission and county executive and all those offices too. We try to be an asset to the community. We want to be utilized by the community. We do not want to sit there by ourselves. And of course, it's been slow for the foot traffic to pick back up since the pandemic, but we're getting there. So we're anxious to see everybody back.
Yeah, and usually the libraries have done a great job with keeping everyone safe, distancing, and got lots of room to spread out.
We
and
do.
Things like
we have room to spread out for people that are still uneasy, and then for people that are ready to hug, come on in and we'll hug you too.
Okay.
So we'll go either way. We'll make it work.
Well, thank you so much for being on Table Talk today. And I'll thank their audience for being here, but we do have a little something else coming up next. I'll talk with Brian Kell and Micah Lawrence with the Ben Lomond Connection podcast, something new to Ben Lomond. So stay with us. We'll be right back.